Evening YouTube, Oli Sasquatch here. Saturday, like May 22nd. Back down here in my big backyard, solo camping, doing my thing. I've been here since Wednesday night. I rode down here on Thumper in the pouring rain. Holy moly, was it raining. It was no joke, dude. I was just like cold and wet when I got here. It don't matter. But anyways, I'm grateful to be down here. It was a wet ride. Yesterday was pretty wet as well. I was reading some of my new book. Jeff Meldrum wrote it. It's called Sasquatch Where Legend Meets Science. I put that on your list if you haven't read it already. I'm into it a good bit. It rained quite a bit, so I've read a little bit of it, and I'm enjoying it so far. And then, yeah, so anyways, it's been pretty wet until today, and I actually got to go thump around quite a bit today and run up to the snow line on a bunch of different roads and just really enjoyed myself. Man, the sky was blue, the sun was shining, and it was just amazing. I just like being down here, even when it's raining. I admit though that I was cold for about a little while. Alright, anyways, so I want to do a little fireside ramble. Seems like it's been a minute since I've done one. And this one here, this story is funny. It's about a friend of mine, one of my best friends. I have two. I've known this guy for about 25 years. We've worked together off and on for about that long. So anyways, and he and I don't do a whole lot outside of work. And one of the few times that we've gone camping, we used to ride motorcycles and shit together. He's got a street bike too, another Kawasaki, but anyways, we came camping. This is several years ago, but he came over to my house and he threw his shit in my Bronco, and we headed down here and we camped up at the my number two spot, the bridge spot, still on 23. It's a Spud Hill Bridge. And it's a nice little spot. There's like a group area in the front when you get out, when you get there. It's not, it ain't campground. I don't do that. I don't do campgrounds. But it's like a bigger area, but it's generally pretty wet, and there's a lot of mud puddles, and it's just generally a wet spot. But a lot of people go there and they do truck camping and have whatever, you know, their pop-up deals and their pop-up tents or whatever you call those little awning things. Easy up. Anyways, there's just behind that, and it's kind of brushed in, is there's this nice little spot under two giant cedar trees, and it's a nice little secluded spot, and folks won't even know you're there, especially if I'm on Thumper. They don't even know I'm there until they like walk by or something. One time I was taking a bath in the river there, and I just was walking up, dude, and two people were strolling by. They just pulled up in their car or something. It was funny as hell. Anyways, so my buddy and I set up camp back there in a little hole, and the weather wasn't great, but it wasn't bad, and we had been there for one night, I think, and the second day we were there, some girls came in. There was three of them, I think, in this Subaru, and they stopped in the front spot there in that little group area, the open area, and they piled out, and at some point the one girl came over and said hello and whatever, told us they were staying the night, and they set up their tent and a couple little tarps. And my buddy Mike, he likes to just kind of chill out a little bit more than I do anyways, and because I'm forever like moving around. Maybe I move around more than most folks, but I can't sit still for too long. So I'd get up and I'd walk around and go look in the woods and look for sticks in the woods or whatever. Walk up to the bridge, look at the river, take pictures. And anyways, I had seen how they'd set up some tarps, and I thought, man, if it rains, these girls are in trouble. And I didn't think much more about it, and the night went on, and anyways, we crawled into our tents, and it started raining that night. It rained fairly heavily. When I woke up in the morning, it had quit raining, but everything was still soaking wet, just drenched. Everything was so wet, it was unbelievable. But I got up and I made my coffee, and my buddy Mike, was still sleeping. So I figured I'd go up to the bridge and watch the sun come up. It was fairly early. And I walked from where we were camped toward the girls' camp where they were camped, and it's probably 40 yards. And as I'm walking up there, I mean, it was quiet that morning, and in retrospect, probably too quiet. But I was just thinking, man, it's just wet, and it just feels weird. And I was looking at their camp, and their tarps were out. They left their blankets out. Their blankets are still on the ground. Their tarps had fallen down, and their shit was soaking wet, and their car was gone. The tent was still there, but the car was gone, and I thought, man, that's just really weird. Their shit's like soaking wet, and it just seemed like it was eerie. It felt eerie. I thought maybe they got rain, you know, soaking wet in the middle of the night and they took off. I didn't know, but they just weren't there. Either way, so then I walked about another probably 30 yards heading up toward the road, and I heard something in the brush. Now there's a little small deal that runs off the river there, and it comes in kind of close, but it's all brushy and kind of swampy in the back. And I heard something in the brush there, and I'm just walking, drinking my coffee. Now I'm being quiet, mind you, it's like early in the morning, and I'm not hearing shit. It is dead quiet as I'm walking up to the bridge, and I hear something move in the brush 40 yards to my right in the shit. And I stop dead in my tracks, and I look over there, and I'm like, huh. And I'm thinking deer for sure, right? And I take 2 more steps, and it moves again. And I thought, that's it, I ain't moving. I'm not moving, because I'm guaranteed to see whatever's in the brush right there. I will see it. And I was waiting to see it break the light or something. So I turned to the brush and was staring intently, waiting, knowing, guaranteed I'm going to see what's in the bushes. Guaranteed. Right about the time I'm thinking that to myself, I literally hear something in the freaking air. I hear something flying in the air, like come from my back, dude. I heard something like whizzing ain't the word, whatever you want to call it. I could hear this. I heard something coming from the back, dude, and it was in the air. And I mean, it was loud enough that I was able to look straight up, and I got a beat on it right as it came over my head. And this thing hit a tree about 60 feet up in front of me, a giant maple tree. This thing hit straight up in the tree, dude. I watched it. I had to crane my neck up to see the thing. This thing whacked the tree so hard it sounded like a baseball bat, and it shot off in the general direction of the bushes where I was looking. You know, not really, but I mean, it triangulated off the tree. I mean, and this thing made a beeline right over my freaking head, hit the tree, and ricocheted off like you would not believe. And this thing was like the size of a softball, dude. And it was, I don't know if it was brown or black, but it was wet. I mean, it was so big I could see it was still wet from the rain, dude. And I was like, holy shit. And I immediately turned around, because there's an open area behind me in the bigger trees. It's like mossy and deadfall back there, all nurse logs. But it's open, like whatever was back there, I should have seen it, dude. And I mean, as soon as I heard that thing hit the tree, I mean, I watched it hit the tree. I turned around and I'm thinking, holy shit, something's chucking a giant ass rock at me. What the hell is going on? And I couldn't see anything. There was nothing there, and I didn't hear a crack of a stick. I didn't hear anything. And by this time I got goosebumps and my eyes are watering. I'm thinking, holy shit, what in the hell was that, dude? All the while my buddy's back in the tent sleeping, and the girls' tent camp area looks like a wreck. And so then I don't see shit behind me, so I turn back to the bushes and there's nothing there, and I'm thinking, holy moly, what was that? And so dude, I'm telling you, every hit I had goosebumps from head to toe. My eyes are watering. I just turned around and I did not continue to the bridge to watch the sun come up or go look at the river. I did a 180, and I was beelining back to our camp, and I was trying to wake up my buddy. And on the way back, dude, it was just like, and I generally don't walk fast, and I was not running, but I was walking very fast. And I'm thinking, holy shit, I got to get back there. I got to go get my buddy because something is chucking rocks at me, dude. Holy shit. So I got from where the rock hit the tree. I turned around, made it to the girls' camp, and I couldn't wait to get much past that. And I started yelling, for the sake of the video, I'll try not to say his name. I started yelling, like as loud as you could, like when you're trying not to be loud. I'm like, dude, dude. As I'm walking, like every step, I'm like, dude, wake up. Dude. And the closer I got, the louder I got. And I got right up on his tent. I'm like, dude, wake up, man. Something is chucking rocks out here. There's something in the bushes and something is chucking a rock at me, dude. And, and he would not wake up. It was so crazy. He was like dead asleep. It took me a minute to wake him up. When he did, I finally told him my story, but yeah, he wouldn't wake up and the girls were gone and something chucked a big old rock at me, dude. I'm telling you what, that thing was the size of a softball. Now, take that for what it's worth, but I'm telling you, I don't know too many things that could be chucking rocks the size of a softball at that speed to hit a tree that high up with that much power, force, and precision. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is insane, dude. And after, you know, of course you think about things, and it was an absolute distraction because there was something in the brush right there that I was waiting on, and guaranteed I would have seen it had whatever not chucked that rock and got me to look up, dude. But I heard that thing coming. Like, I've never heard something flying in the air like that before. I don't even know, dude. I mean, arrows make a cool sound when you let them go, but I mean, this is like a big rock, dude, and this thing was moving air. It was like, you could hear it coming, and I was like, it was crazy. So, yeah, that's my giant rock story. A distraction, apparently, because there must have been a younger one in the brush. That's the only logical explanation. So yeah, there you go. That's one of the many experiences I've had while being out in the woods, and that one always makes me laugh. Oh, and about the girls, they did. It was such an eerie morning. They did come back later in the day, or it was still early. It was late morning rather, but anyways, they did come back. They had got up and they went for a hike, so obviously nothing happened to them, and they just don't know how to set up a tarp, and their shit got all wet. So they were all right. My buddy and I were all right. And yeah, I guess look out for whirring rocks being chucked in the woods sometimes. It'll get your attention. I'm telling you what, that was something. All right, well, there you go. Another fireside ramble. I hope you guys are all doing well and having a good weekend. Until my next video, always Sasquatch out.